Hi everyone, this is Emmy. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet this very easy poncho and matching hat. So let's get started. Welcome to HECTANOOGA 1. To make this set, I used Red Heart Stellar yarn, and it is a super bulky yarn. And you could also use Bernat Softy Chunky, or you could also work with 3 strands of worsted weight yarn. I'm going to use a solid color yarn because it will be easier for you to see the stitches, and a 9mm crochet hook. You can use any size yarn and any size hook that you would like. So I'm going to make the smallest size, and I'm going to start with the cowl collar, and I'm going to work a foundation chain that's approximately 8 inches long. So regardless of the size hook or the yarn, make your foundation chain to measure 8 inches. Okay, so 8 inches, and then you're going to double crochet in the 3rd stitch from the hook. Make a double crochet. For a double crochet, yarn around the hook, insert into the stitch, pick up the yarn and pull it through, pick up the yarn, pull it through 2, pick up the yarn, pull it through 2, and double crochet in each stitch all the way across the chain. So double crochet all the way across the row, all the way across the row. Okay, I worked all the way across the row. At the end of the row, chain 2 and turn, and that takes the place of this first stitch. And now you're going to double crochet in each stitch across the row, working only in the back side of the stitch. So double crochet in each stitch all the way across the row, working only in the back side of the stitch, all the way across the row. Okay, I worked all the way across the row, and now you're going to repeat that row until this cowl is as long as you need for it to fit comfortably around the neck. So for every row, chain 2 and turn. Again, this stitch takes the place of the first stitch. Double crochet in each stitch all the way across the row, working only in the back side of the stitch. So work every row exactly the same until you have the correct length to wrap around the neck. And when you reach the end of the row, you should always be working in the top of that turning chain, just to make sure that you keep the same number of stitches all the way across each row. So after you have worked a long rectangle like this, for size small, it easily stretches to 10 inches. I fold this together and slip stitch to form a tube. So you just pass your hook through the stitch on this side and through a stitch on the opposite side and pull the yarn through both stitches. So you work all the way up, slip stitching and forming a tube. Like that. Okay, I joined all the way down and I have formed a tube. And this is going to be the cowl collar, and it will roll down like this to form the collar. And now I'm going to start working all the way around this end. Okay, so now I'm going to start working all the way around. And in order to do that, I'm just going to slip stitch into a stitch, and I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and that takes the place of a double crochet and a chain 1. So I'm in the same stitch, I'm going to make another double crochet, and that forms a V-stitch. Now making size small, I'm working into the sides of the double crochets. So go into the side of the next double crochet and work a V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, that's a V-stitch. So that's a V-stitch and a V-stitch, And now in this stitch, I'm going to make 2 V-stitches. So 1 V-stitch is a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So there's my first V-stitch. So in that same stitch, I'm going to make another V-stitch, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So working around, I'm going to make a V-stitch, a V-stitch, 2 V-stitches all the way around. Okay, I worked all the way around. At the end of the row, find that first chain 3, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch to join in the second stitch of the chain 3. And that's what that will look like. I worked all the way around, and there's the cowl collar, and it will be turned down like that. So now I'm just going to keep working around and around in a circle, and every row will be exactly the same. There's where I ended in the second stitch of the chain 2. So this was the equivalent of the first V-stitch. So slip stitch into the center of the V-stitch and then start making V-stitches. So chain 3 for the first V-stitch, and that's the equivalent of a double crochet and a chain 1. And then make 1 more double crochet in that same space. Now go to the next V-stitch and find the chain 1 space and make a V-stitch in the chain 1 space, and that is double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And you're going to repeat that all the way around. In every chain 1 space, make a V-stitch. Like that. So in every chain 1 space, make a V-stitch. Okay, I worked all the way around for another row, and again at the end of the row, find the second chain and slip stitch to join. And now every row is exactly the same. Slip stitch into the chain 1 space, chain 3, which is the equivalent of a double crochet and a chain 1. In that same space, make another double crochet, and then working all the way around, find the chain 1 space of the previous row and work a V-stitch in that stitch. And you just continue to add as many rows as you would like for the length of your poncho. So just keep working row after row. Okay, I worked a few more rows, and that's how it will look. Just continue to add row after row until your poncho is as long as you would like it to be. And that's it. That's how easy it is to crochet this very quick poncho. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.